Hey Cobb, how you doing?
Gentlemen?
Good. Can you hear us?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, we can.
Great.
Absolutely. Hey, how you doing, Kyle?
Good, man. Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Excellent. So I know you mentioned you can only be on audio. That's not a problem. So we're just going to take this opportunity. I'm going to give it over to Kwame. He had a couple of things he wanted to present and kind of just further flesh out the product. And if you have any questions after, Cobb, just let us know. But the goal of this call is to help you fully understand what we have here, so that way it can help you to let your clients know. So
Awesome, guys.
excellent. Go ahead, Kwame.
Nice. So, Kyle, are you on audio or are you on mobile or?
No, I got you on my laptop, so I wanted to have a much better advantage on this one. So,
Okay, cool. So you have visual though, right?
I do have visual. Well, I'm looking at a welcome screen at this point, but try and hook me up to a screen, and I'll let you know if I'm connected here.
Okay.
Yeah, something's happening. Yeah, we're good, dude. We're good. This is great.
We're good. Okay, cool, nice. All right, man. So I'm gonna take you through the entire process from the moment that we onboard clients all the way down to what the end goal, the revenue associated with, it, and how the process works, and just pretty much everything that we're building out, from start to finish. All right. So, in any time, if you have any questions and you're not clear on something, just go ahead and stop me, interrupt me, and ask the question, and I'll do my best to answer it.
Sounds good, Chloe. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. So, okay, so for us, and I think we've talked about this before, how content is king. Content is at the foresight, the front end of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we leverage content to not only build a database, which is what we are more focused on the back end, but we use the content to build an audience pretty much, right? So let's just paint a scenario that this is media production that your guys built out, right? And we have media that we use, right? And it's nowhere near up to par what you guys can create, right? So that's what we think this partnership is a great collaboration on both of our ends.
Absolutely.
So, right. So let's just take this video for example, right? This is a traditional video. We use the software Lumify to create. It's really simple. We have a girl in-house that does these. She can pretty much create one in 20 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we take topics. We take 3 or 4 different topics that we know are going to get the interest and kind of validate some of our thesis, which is, okay, are they interested? Are they aware? And if they are, then at what level is their awareness? That's pretty much our thesis going into this acquisition. So we take a video like this. 8 out of 10 Americans would rather take natural supplements, right? So this video goes into several different reasons about natural medicine over traditional pharmaceutical medicine. Really shitty video. And at the end of the day, what we're looking for is engagement and relevance, right? So that's the biggest thing. The overarching goal is to find engagement and relevancy with the content, right? And that gives us a pulse on how to go about the next step of customer acquisition, which is I'm going to get into further down the line. But right now, this is all what we consider audience building, right? So does this make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So for us, so we have your media, we have our content. Now we come to an ad network like Facebook, right? And this ad network, we're able to acquire video views, right? So for us, we might take, one video or a series of 3 videos, and we're going to test them with an ad network, with an audience that is a part of the demographic and psychographic that we're looking at, right? So we might take this one video, and I might target, people who have an affinity to marijuana-related products, hemp oil, natural medicine, that are over 25 that live in California, Northern California region, right? So let's just say I go after, that's the target demographic, right? So what we're doing here is we're spending money on video views in hopes that we can figure out, what video has the most engagement. So then that gives us a pulse on what video we should promote the most, but also the relevancy of the video, meaning how well does it engage and how relevant it is to the audience, right? So let's take the video that I just showed you, or let's, paint a scenario that it's one of you guys' video that you provide us, right? So then we come here to an ad network, and we basically purchase video views, right? So these video views are extremely cheap. So this is a campaign, an ongoing campaign, and basically, we spent up to $1,400, but we've acquired over 100,000 video views to this content, right? And the big goal with this is that we're segmenting our engagement by video watch time. So at 25%, you see we have 45,000 people. At 95%, we have 18,000 people, right? So the next step to this top is to segment based off viewership and to deliver them a message that's congruent with what they've seen. So an example of that would be people who've seen 25% of this content, right, whatever that content may be, they didn't make it to see the call to action at the end, so they may or may not be aware or fully engaged with our content yet. So I might make another campaign that's also video that goes after the 25%, either the same content type, the same asset, or a different video view that touches on a different topic, right? So, but the idea is that we segment based off engagement. Now, for the people that are 95% engaged, these are the people who've seen our content, that delivered value, they've seen what we're about, and these are our most engaged fans. So what I'm going to do with this is, right, these 18,000 people, I'm going to take these people, and then I'm going to create what we call a lookalike audience with these 18,000 people, right? And what that does is it gives me a match of demographic and psychographic that I can then go back to the ad network and reapproach my acquisition with now, I can start to acquire leads now, right? So I can do two things, and stop me if I'm moving too fast if you want me to explain what I'm saying. So I'll take these 18,000 people, right, and I'll go to the ad network, I'll go back to Facebook or any other campaign, and I'll say, okay, well, I want to place an ad like this in front of just the 18,000 people, right? So this is an ad that we have running for one of the clients right now. And basically, it's an ad that further validates or further creates the conversation with the video that they just seen, right? So again, this ad is only being seen by the people who view 100% of our content, right? Whatever that content may be. Now, when they click learn more, they go off into a whole nother world of data segmentation, and I'm going to show you all of that right now. But are you clear on how we structure video to lead acquisition? Is that clear?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay, cool. Right. So again, we start with the video. We end up doing video views, right? We segment based off engagement, about viewership, right? We build an audience, we build a data set around that, and then we get into customer acquisition, right? So at customer acquisition, now we're looking at two things, right? I want to get a pulse on what is our cost per subscriber, right? So when we traditionally run video views first, our cost per subscriber is probably 100% cheaper than what it is if we just use this straight away, right? So you can go with this first and don't prime any of your audience with any content, but we've seen bad results on the back end. People drop off, they unsubscribe because they weren't ever fully engaged or indoctrinated into your brand, right? So for us, it's a branding play that makes the difference of how much you pay per subscriber. So this ad, once they click here, then they go off into our messenger acquisition system. So to give you an overview of that, right? So again, when the targeting comes into play, we're going after people who've engaged with us. So these are people where they've watched our video, 3-second views, they've saved our page, they've engaged with our post, the page, they've commented, they just had some level of engagement. Those are the people that we're going after. Those are the people that we're going to retarget with a direct response ad that's going to go into our messenger bot, right? So, again, our messenger bot is a place where we can not only store subscribers and engage with subscribers and get data from them, but it's also a place where you have direct traffic that you can send to your offers, that you can send to your content, to your clients, promotions, whatever it may be, right? So that's our overall goal. So let me show you a little bit about what Messenger looks like. So this ad has been running for a while. So again, they come from Facebook, and they come segmented, and they come highly engaged. So we're trying to keep engagement up throughout this whole process. Once they get here, this is where we start to do a little bit of promotion if necessary. If not necessary, then we're going to just keep sending content. We're gonna use Messenger as a way to deliver content, as a way to deliver value with the audience to continue to build that fan base, right? So, I can schedule this out 20 minutes after they've subscribed from the advertisements you just seen, or I can schedule it out 1 day, 5 days, and I can deliver different messages. So this pretty much acts like email, right? But I can also send promotions through here as well, right? So just to give you an example, this is an affiliate promotion that we ran. So basically, once they subscribe to the bot through a Facebook ad, right, then they come here, and two things are happening right here. So two things are happening. We have us sending, content, right? And this content can vary. This can be us sending them another video, right? It can be us sending them to an article, us sending them to a coupon code. It does not matter what we send them to. What matters is that we have the ability to drive, a massive amount of data and clicks to whatever objective we might have, right? So that's the overall goal with this. Two things are happening here. We're sending traffic to an offer or to an article, and then we're segmenting by data. So for every person who clicks to read, then they get tagged with 1 point, right? So that's a functionality that ManyChat allows us to have. We can tag our users, right? So I can tag them with an action, and that action might say something like, read one article, and then over the lifetime of the subscriber, I'm going to promote to the people who got the most engagement, right? So, for instance, if they click here and they get added, a tag gets added, then, okay, we know a tag gets added. So the next broadcast that we create, I can come back and create a fresh broadcast only to the people who clicked on, 3 pieces of content. They've read 3 articles, they've watched 100% of all of our media, etc. Those are going to be our most engaged people. Those are going to be, from what we've seen, the people who buy our product, the people who go to our website. Those people become endorsers of our brands, right? So that's the overall strategy with ManyChat, and we can really get advanced with ManyChat when it comes to segmentation. So we have it to a point where we can filter out based off interest. We can filter out based off pain point, right? So, we can subscribe people to our email list through ManyChat. We can get their phone number through ManyChat. Once we have them through ManyChat, then our options open up to how we want to continue to, create contact and create engagement with them, right? So, for us, we use a combination of SMS, email, and ManyChat, and then we also combine that with retargeting. Because once a person gets this far down, we want them to see the same messaging across all of the channels that they're spending time on. So what that looks like is that, let's just say a person subscribes to our bot. We send them, this is one of our flows. We send them from here, right, where they join, our free group or our free bot or free content, whatever we want to position this as. And then once they come through here, they get a message, hey, it's great for you to join our free community. We do giveaways, exclusive updates, content, discounts, yes, I want in, right? So now they've given us the privilege to contact them, whenever we want to deliver value. So then we segment them based off their interests. Are you interested in health, CBD, recreational use? Are you an investor? Do you want to invest in cannabis? So now we segment based off micro interests within that industry, right? And this is for one flow. And then once they get segmented, they get tagged. And these tags allow us to, reach out to the groups that build up over time. So interested in cannabis investing, over time, it builds, I have 7,000 people to reach out to, right? So that keeps the engagement up because we can segment people based off what their interest is. And the complexity here we can go on and on about how complex this can be. It just really depends on what our goal is for the client. And once they reach this point, and once we have customer acquisition flowing, and we have an influx of leads coming in every single day through this system, then we move over to multi-channel marketing, retargeting, and we also move over to selling. So once the customer, once the client, the prospect comes into our world, they're getting hit up through all channels, because now what we can do is we have data. So what that looks like is I can come here to my dashboard, right, and I can upload this entire Rolodex of clients. We want some guys on batteries done. I can upload this Rolodex of clients to any ad network, and that gives me an advantage in the market, because now I'm not buying cold traffic. I'm not starting from scratch like how we did here with Facebook. We have enough data between the pixels, the people who land on our pages, our audience, to be able to upload. And let's just say we want to start to do, YouTube. Well, okay, now I can upload my custom audience in ManyChat. I can upload my custom audience for Facebook, and I can deliver a message to people who have already seen my branding in YouTube. And if it's selling, then I can do the same thing. And then from here, we get a little bit more advanced with our selling systems. And this is basically, we start with one channel, and then we take that data and we spread it across all channels. And then we have a consistent way of reaching people that are familiar with our brand, that are familiar with our messaging at any given time. And ManyChat and email and SMS gives us the capability. Retargeting gives us the capability to advertise and everything else. And then once we come here, we get a little bit more advanced as far as the selling system goes. We have some email marketing going on. We have retargeting via email marketing, and that's kind of like out the scope. But overall, that is what we do. That's our overall strategy, how we take a client from start to finish. Once the system is in play and it's working and it's running full time, we can see, depending on the goal of the client, anywhere from 100, 200 sales a day to build out of an audience over 1 million people. It just depends on the goal of the client. So I hope that's clear enough, and you kind of get the picture of what we do.
Yeah, man. No, it's pretty much kind of what I had assumed was going on. It just, the clarification is kind of nice. Also, too, just getting the base understanding. We start with Facebook Messenger pretty much at all points, kind of thing, and then the ManyChat is kind of next, but we can integrate from there. We would never start with email. We would never start with YouTube. We would always start with that Messenger and move from there. That's that's every starting point, is it not?
Not necessarily. So, without to try to make it, any layer of complexity.
Yeah.
It just depends on the client, right? So there's been times where we've had clients where email was a better approach to this system than Messenger was. Okay. So it just depends on the branding. It depends on the concept that you have. It depends on the demographic you're going after.
Right. Would you say here would be more your dominant place to start? However, that's really this is the one I'd be selling on. I guess from a selling perspective, this is the one I'd really be talking about, kind of thing.
Well, absolutely, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the open rates with Messenger are, historically higher than email. And the fact of the matter is that, Messenger, is the new email. That is a great selling point. And another selling point is the fact that once you acquire a Messenger subscriber, right, you no longer have to pay for the Messenger subscriber. You have to pay for storage. Which, it varies, right? So for this particular account, we got 200,000 subscribers. Our account balance is about $500 a month, and you're going to pay that with any CRM where you have that type of data.
Right.
Store, and those subscribers store. So a great selling point, to me, always talks about this, is that you're paying for these subscribers. The CPM, what the cost per subscriber right now is the lowest it's going to be. The cost is going to continue to go up over time because of the inventory. It's so valuable. But once you pay for them, you have them. So at any given time, if we want to send, 20,000 people to a new product release or a product promotion, you have the ability to do that without having to go to an ad network and pay for ads.
Right. That's a huge, and that's just it. Being able to keep that data. Everybody wants data. Data costs money. This is obviously one of the massive. What would that be? The benefit to the feature kind of thing. So that's awesome. That's really awesome.
I would just add one other thing, Cobb, just to kind of really distinguish it, and I just kind of thought of this, is that, like back in the day, us marketers, we were, when there was no Facebook, there was obviously just Google, and Google's just a search engine. Even before Google, we would just buy data lists of like the best, like if this insurance company is selling their list, and we kind of know who we're talking to, but we're not 100% sure, right? With this data, this is from Facebook, and they spend God knows how much money doing data science to all the data that they collect, right? So it's just highly more qualified for the data that you want to be spending your money on, right? You want to be spending your money on the Mercedes-Benz data, not the Yugo data, right?
Right. Exactly. And when you talk about segmentation and like how to meet the compliment, what you just said, we have, like, let's just say that, there's a partnership with a local club that we want to, make people aware of, right? Well, I have interest in recreational use right here, right? So I've already segmented them, and we know exactly who to contact when it comes to that offer, that promotion, that content. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, the segmentation is awesome. I like playing with this kind of stuff too. And this makes a lot of sense anyways. Obviously, I don't have much experience in purchasing data or ad buys myself in the past. But with that being said, this sounds, like we're getting into some real specifics here, which is really nice, which is a huge selling feature, obviously, again. So if I may ask you guys, just with my limited experience in this side of things, what is the second best kind of thing out there? Just so if somebody throws something back at me, like, hey, actually, we're using this right now, and this is why kind of thing. What is that kind of the next level in competition to you guys, and how do you guys respond to that if somebody brings it up? Like, we're comfortable using this, or we're already using that. How does that differ? Does that make sense?
Cool. Yeah. So okay. So to answer that, and to me, you can compliment this as well. For us, it's like we speak to clients on a consistent basis, right? And for us, we notice that there's a lot of people, and they may or may not have a lot of budget, but one thing is for sure, that nobody really understands how to acquire traffic, like how to get traffic and how to leverage your traffic to make the most sense, right? So, for us, it's, for me personally, what I've seen is that, people might say, oh, you know what, we tried Messenger, like we tried to do this and this didn't work, we tried to do that. But the one thing that people don't understand is that you actually need content to get a gauge of the awareness level that your audience is at. Mm-hmm. But you have to filter that, and you have to understand engagement from non-engagement, like what we do on the front end, right? And there's a whole back-end system to it, to a point where, listen, okay, well, your problem is traffic. Well, if you invest in this, then your problem will be not only will you completely get rid of your traffic problem, but you have actual data and you have actual people in the audience that you're building. You know what I mean? And I think so for us, it's like, it's not just like, we use the term data because it resonates with us, right? But we understand what that means. But I think and me and Samit had this conversation yesterday, we think on the higher end, people understand audience building better than they understand data.
Right.
And if you understand audience building, then this is what audience building looks like, with this, strategic plan in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, I would just add on is that, right now, a couple years ago, Facebook data cost 4 or 5 times less than it does today. And now inventory is absolutely gone. So, Facebook is trying to create more inventory by like Facebook videos, and Messenger just seems to be a place where it's not super saturated. A lot of people may have dabbled in it. A lot of people may have signed up for a free account. But is everybody actually using it to have conversations that are content driven and then also learning off that? I'd say it's a very small sliver, if that. And in our space, I can tell you, being an affiliate marketer coming from that world, there's a lot of free trial offers, right? Free trial CBD pills, and there's been fat loss pills, and there's been a whole list of stuff. And most affiliate-driven businesses, they're just slamming traffic to a landing page, and they don't really care to learn anything about that data. You know what I mean? So most companies are on the they're on the reliance of somebody out there who's just on the reliance and motivation of money. Where we I would say we're different is we take that money is just something that everybody needs to create in order to drive business forward, but more so is we're looking at it from so we're coming on board not only to get you engaged followers or sales, but really to grow with you as a business and build out this system, because there's no reason for you to spend so much money and time and years to learn what we've learned. We go to conferences, we do this for a living. It's for us to partner and really build something that really makes something that's long lasting, right? So when you have those long lasting media agencies out there, they're always focused on the data, right? Because that's really the asset that you have at the end of the day. If one breaks the relationship and they're like, what do I own out of all of this? Whether ManyChat changes into Super Chat or whatever tool changes, you have your data. That never changes, right?
Right.
And that's something that's a constant. And you could if your business exploded tomorrow and bankrupt, you could take that data and you could start again fresh, but with obviously extreme accuracy at that point. So.
Right.
That's really what I would say is, it is a data-driven focus. And I think when you start talking to other firms out there, it's not any kind of trick that sets us different than them. It's just really more so the diligent, understanding that this is what it takes to build a $100 million business, or we're working with another crypto company that wants to get $1 billion valuation. And they're only going to do that, based upon the data play. So that's, so we're in that space. And so, and like Kwame said, we talk with a lot of CBD companies, and to really be honest with you, they don't even know half the questions to ask, like you even said, or I think Georgia said on our last call. So right now, the question really is you tell us what you're thinking, Samit and Kwame, is what we're getting. You know what I mean? So we're trying to just create the best picture. I mean, I hope the past 20, 30 minutes, we've got a good picture going on here. But did that help, Com, a little bit?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It basically, kind of confirmed what I had assumed anyways was going on. Like I say, just really wanted to filter this down. It gives me a chance to kind of, like I say, build a little bit further on the sales pitch kind of thing. For me, it's all really about how I can turn this around and create those benefits out of the features that we have. So we're off to the races right now, guys. I'm going to, like I say, there's going to be stuff that I need to kind of still digest a little bit, but where we're moving with this is awesome. I need to, again, I need to identify first and foremost in Canada. I do need to speak with somebody from our regulatory side with the CRTC and contacting people. We have some specific regulations around being able to contact. What you said regarding the Facebook rules and all of that yesterday, that I'm really hoping that is applicable in Canada. That Canada has worked with Facebook regarding how they communicate to Canadians, and that Facebook itself is a safe place for Canadian companies to go and contact people, where it's given that sense of consent in that regard. That's the only thing from a Canadian perspective. From everything else, so it totally makes sense. I mean, the U.S. being able to create the content, and really that's kind of how I'm looking at this. We're selling a service that you guys will be providing, at least in the short term, that we can provide. But our focus is going to be on the content, creating content that is going to be usable and from the Canadian marketplace, but then with the US, we have the full flexibility. Creating the content in Canada, there's no issues. We're able to create whatever content we want for US companies. It's the restrictions is when, and that's basically we're working with the regulations of the US. In Canada, obviously, I could be working with the Canadian regulations. Let me iron this out with the regulations and find any Trojan horses that we need. Sure. But with that being said, if there aren't any glitches, and we work with Facebook in Canada to ensure that whatever marketing programs they provide for Canadians is above the board, then yeah, guys, it's really just a case of getting this into my vernacular and my vocabulary. But I suspect it will be a positive partnership, because it's taking people to something that isn't being used quite regularly right now. And showing them that they're going to be part of something that is progressive, something that is data focused, something where it's not just the shotgun approach. It's ideal, guys. So if we can make this work for our customers, then it's definitely going to be working for everyone, I think. So
absolutely. Well, I'm glad that we were able to answer your questions and give you the visual. And yeah, man, anything you need from us, just let us know. We're always on call, and I know some need. You know, for instance, if anything Cobb needs that you can't provide, you know how that goes. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you guys fairly. I won't be harassing you guys, but I will definitely forward up a couple of questions over the next few days.
Okay.
Let me follow up with the guys on my end too, and just kind of let them know where we're at with everything. But yeah, it's there will be questions, but yeah, at this point, I'm comfortable with where we're at and what's going on. The concept makes sense. So, one question I did have you: is it possible to add me to one of these lists and get some shit coming to my MSN Messenger? Is there any way I can somehow trip over a wire and have you guys start botting the hell out of me?
Yeah, definitely. I can send you a link to the Messenger bot that we have, and you could start to see some of the messaging that's going to come through.
Yeah, it just gives me an opportunity to use it. And like I say, the more I can actually physically click myself, physically interact with the bots and everything involved, I'm going to be able to create a much better story myself. What you guys have done is amazing. Thank you for being so thorough and patient with me. Honestly, though, the minute I get my fingers on this and start getting to click through and fuck around on my end, that's where my magic starts happening.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll shoot that over to you. Not a problem.
Perfect.
Really awesome, guys. Well, yeah, I don't want to keep you too long, and we probably only have a few minutes left on this damn Zoom call anyways. So if there's anything else you guys like to cover at this point, let me know. But like I say, for myself, it's digesting, communicating with the other guys, and yeah, probably getting in touch with you guys late Friday or early Monday to just give you a next steps on our end.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Awesome, guys.
Any questions on your end, Kwame?
No,
good.
sorry, that was for Kwame.
Okay. All right. Excellent. All right, guys. Well, then,
Awesome.
thank you for your time, Cobb. And I guess we'll catch up next week, early next week, and I'll send you over the link in an email.
Awesome. Samit, Kwame, thank you guys so much.
All right. Take care.
No problem. Thanks, Rob.
Take care, guys.
All right.